Good morning. Audio check. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just one more minute before we start, waiting for others to join as well. All right. Good morning, everyone. So, in today's class, we'll be looking at the previous year questions of medieval India, especially with respect to the Bhakti Sufi period and the overall philosophy that led to the socio-religious reforms. Okay. So, this is one map that I've picked up from the NCRT textbook. If you understand this map, you will be able to solve a lot of questions. Okay. So I am asking you to give a few minutes to observe this map. And I know it will be difficult to observe this map without a clear-cut directive on what to look for. So based on that, I'm giving you how to remember this on the basis of patterns. Is everyone ready? Everyone ready with their books? Can I directly begin? All right. So let me help you with the context of this. UPSC has been asking a lot of questions on the philosophical aspects of the medieval Indian period. And a lot of those questions are based on the timelines of these respective Bhakti saints. And if you don't have a structure to this thought, it will be a khichdi in your head. It will all be scattered and you will not be able to remember anything. And it is unfair to expect you to remember all this in a single sitting. You will have some flagship ideas. Let's say, for example, Shankaradeva in 15th to 16th century in Assam, because these are asked in previous year questions. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because it is asked in mains. But what about others? Like, how will you remember? Is there any structure? That's where we should try to figure out some patterns that will help us in clearing this exam. All right. So let me help you with a small pattern here. Take a look at this. The socio-religious reforms and Bhakti period actually started from South India. If you can see, with Adi Shankaracharya in Kerala. And then you will see in the Tamil Nadu region, the present day Tamil Nadu region, many reforms like Alvars, Nayanars, and then Ramanuja, who was a part of the 11th and 12th century reforms. All these facts that you already know, I'm trying to give them a proper structure. So, there is a clear-cut foundation for our socio-religious reforms in the 9th to 12th century from South India. Okay. Then, when you are moving towards Karnataka region and Deccan region, Maharashtra, you will see a new radical idea of how we approach religion. You will see this in the form of Basavanna, the saints of Maharashtra. And then, if you take the final wave as the northern explosion, you will see a slew of reforms. Kabir, Guru Nanak, Mirabai, Shankaracharya, and then many other regional variants. Let's say, for example, Narsinh Mehta, Then you will see Ramananda, all these people from Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan region. All right. So I'm giving you a few minutes to look at this map. Okay. Just observe this map for a few minutes. Have a look at different names that you will be seeing here, especially this region, because these people are in news. I'll give you some facts after that. Then we will go forward and see how to memorize them. Just observe the facts and observe the map for a few minutes. Just take a couple of minutes. All right. Now, let me ask you, how will you remember this Maharashtra Saints? Because they are important in my opinion this year. You might get some questions there also. In fact, if you take a look at NCRT, you will see some important facts that can be used. See here, top to bottom, if you observe, J-N-E-T, J-N-E-T. And finally, Ramdas also will be a part. Just remember this mnemonic. For Maharashtra Saints, just remember this mnemonic. Just never eat tough rice. Naneshwar, amdev, knath, ukaram, Ramdas. Okay. Before we get into the PYQs, these are some facts that I want you to memorize.
Sir, you can use Jannat is Rosy.
Whatever
That
works for you. Anything is fine. Okay. Then, if you take a look at this Varanasi hub, it's very crowded here. Like you might get confused with all these names. What do you do there? I want you to club them based on the logic here is that some of them are gurus, some of them are just poets, and some of them are, not really trying to create any cult following or any groups. They were just following what they believed in. They didn't really try to, create any cult or group. The followers created it, they did not actively do it. So, amongst the gurus, the most famous ones, like you might believe that Kabir Panthi and all the subsequent followers are important, but according to the contemporary items, news items, you can focus more on Raidas and Ramananda. These two people. These are relatively less explored by UPSC. Raidas and Ramananda. Then remember Kabir and Vallabhacharya. Second priority. If you can create some mnemonic, you can create, but I'm just calling this the Varanasi hub. And the poets, Surdas and Tulsidas. These two facts. Shankaradeva is a prelims PYQ, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a mains PYQ in 2018. So you will have to remember them. When it comes to Narsinh Mehta, you know this famous song, Vaishnav Jan To, that was made famous by Mahatma Gandhi in the freedom movement. It is written by Narsinh Mehta. In Rajasthan region, you will see Dadu. Dadu Pant, which is famous now, again in news. These are some of the important things. In the Vijayanagara period, you will see Purandar Das. Okay, so these are some of the facts that you have to remember. Now let's go to PYQs. All right. Everybody ready? Just raise your hands if you're ready. We will start. I hope you memorized all these facts.
Sir, can you scroll back to the map for 10 seconds?
All right, great. Now let's start. Question number 1. How are you going to solve this question? Generally observe one trend. If I am asking a saint to be linked to one contemporary ruler, it's more likely that you will be using that cue. When I am saying you as an UPSC can use this word contemporary to confuse aspirants. Okay. Clear? Now, take a look at this. Yes, I'm requesting everyone else to all right. So take a look at this. How will you solve this? I am giving you I'm giving you a methodology for approaching the questions in medieval India. Okay, you have to pass them through certain filters. First one is identify if they are contemporaries. The first thing that you need to know is time filter, chronological audit. Carry out a chronological audit and see if a saint is associated with a king or one particular kingdom. Okay. And if you are not able to find that pattern, you shouldn't be attempting this question at all. Let's say, for example, you don't know who Saint Nimbarka is. Do not attempt. If you don't know who Saint Kabir is, do not attempt. This is a clear-cut directive. Do not take a wild guess unless and until some facts are absolutely clear in medieval India. Don't say I felt or I thought so. You cannot feel or think. You just have to know these facts. Otherwise, don't attempt. You should know when to leave some questions. But again, there's a caveat here. If you are leaving these questions, you are increasing your risk. So I am asking you to remember at any cost some of the points. So the fact is that Saint Nimbarka belongs to early medieval tradition, somewhere around 13th century. Broadly contemporary of Ramanujacharya and Basavanna. Okay. What about Akbar then? Is Akbar also from the same time period? Any idea?
No, sir.
No,
16th
sir,
century.
he is not.
Generally, when you see this contemporary word within the question, look at it with suspicion. All right. You will not get contemporary based questions. I mean, like, you will not get the exact contemporary thinkers and rulers within the question, because usually UPSC will use this word contemporary to twist. Most of the times it is wrong. This is the historical pattern. But people like me must have observed this, and if they're already putting it on YouTube also, then I don't know what UPSC will do. As of now, it is unlikely that, you know, this kind of pattern will change. So for now, whenever you see this word contemporary, look at it with suspicion, and most of the times it will be wrong. This is the historical pattern, but now UPSC can change. What is the advice that I'm giving? Whatever names that you see on this map, I'm expecting that you memorize them, because time and again these patterns were repeated and they were usually correct. Usually you will get them within this map only. If you remember them correctly, you are going to get this question correct. Otherwise, you will make a mistake. High yielding area. Do not miss this at all. Okay. Now, when it comes to Sheikh Ahmad Sarhindi, do you know this person? We are revising these points right away. So I'm asking, do you know this person? Anyone?
Sir, he's a author of some book.
No. That can be like, author of some book can't be a memory anchor for you, right? So you need to give me a time period. What
So
is his
during
main?
Tughlaq
Sir,
dynasty,
he is doing Delhi Sultanate.
No, not exactly Delhi Sultanate. How many of you know this person? Anyone? Nobody knows?
Sir, he is a Sufi scholar. Sufi.
Yes, he is definitely a Sufi scholar. But what is his
Jahangir's
specialty?
reign. He was there in Jahangir's reign, not Akbar.
Correct. So when you're talking about Jahangir, what time period are we dealing with?
15th.
17th century.
Okay. 17th, sorry.
Okay. So we are talking about the 17th century. What about Saint Kabir? Kabir was born much before. In fact, Sarhindi was born almost after a century later, after Kabir passed away. So the answer here is both of them are wrong. What did you learn from this? There are some important facts that you have to memorize. And after you memorize those facts, you have to look at the information also. Do your background work. Otherwise, I'll be delaying the work again. I am not going to elaborate on this. I'm expecting that you will do the background Google work, etc. Okay, this is the first thing that you want to.
Sir, a small doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, just a vague guess. So, just a thought which is running in my mind. So, can we say Kabir has his own way of presenting his dohas? So, on those lines, he's known for his innovative style. So, on those lines, can we reject two?
What? So that is a very vague heuristic. I would not encourage that kind of thought
Without
process.
knowing Sheikh
Without
Ahmad.
knowing, no, don't do that.
Okay.
Because history, you have to observe patterns that are tested by UPSC only. Let us not create new patterns, because facts can be distorted in our head if we encourage that line of thought. Let us not normalize anything that is beyond the scope of previous year questions. If I'm asking you to memorize some facts, you will have to memorize the facts. There is no other way.
Got it.
With reference to the cultural history of medieval India, consider the following. How will you solve this question? See, again, I'm asking you to go back and do your background work. I'm just going to quickly go about the PYQs so that you see patterns on how questions are designed. I'm not going to get into the specifics there, because that specifics can be Googled and you can pretty much figure them out yourself. Spend some time. Siddhas of Tamil region were monotheistic and condemned idolatry. Is this true or false? Anybody?
False, sir. Sir,
What?
Siddha were into tantric traditions,
Okay.
and
So,
sir, they criticize social orthodoxy rituals. Then how can they be monotheistic?
why not?
Sir, in Odisha, Bengal region, Siddhas are not into idolatry. Uh, so I'm guessing.
That again, this is a lack of conceptual clarity. I'll tell you, it's fine. Whatever reasoning you've had is fine, but there are some shortcomings in that. Monotheism doesn't necessarily mean you are orthodox. Monotheistic religions or monotheistic spiritual ideas generally refer to focus on one reality, which says that there might be one unifying reality which might be abstract, and historically, in that sense, they were monotheistic. And of course, they condemned idolatry, because the authority of the Brahmanical religion and the expression in the language that is common for people back then was the hallmark of this time period in Tamil Nadu. The broader context of the Siddhachara tradition is their focus on formless reality, and they rejected the temple-based rituals and idolatry. So, like most radical reformers, they were critical of the orthodox ritualism. Yes, you are right that Siddhas were mystical, tantric, and they are poet saints of the Tamil region who believed in a unifying reality, and that unifying reality is nothing but a variation of what Advaita Vedanta also said. But since Advaita Vedanta was difficult for common people, Ramanuja came into the picture and created Vishishta Advaita, where people started using devotion as a bhakti as a way for salvation. More or less, all of them are talking about the same thing. It is just that the method is different. So you need to understand the difference in that method only. Where will you find this information? It is actually there in NCERT. You will have to read that very carefully. Okay, now coming back to the second statement. Lingayats of Kannada region questioned the theory of rebirth and rejected the caste hierarchy.
Sir, it is true.
Okay.
Sir, caste hierarchy is okay, but they didn't question the theory of rebirth.
So this will create some confusion. Why this confusion came into existence? Can anyone tell me? How many of you have the same doubt? Raise your hands. Did they question the theory of rebirth? How many of you had the same doubt?
Sir, questioning in what sense?
Did they have a theory of rebirth, or did they have an opinion on rebirth?
Sir, they simply don't believe on rebirth.
Sir, Lingayats are belief of Shiva. They believe in the Laya of the Shiva. So when the deaths happen, they commingle with the Shiva, the eternity. They believe in this.
Correct. So many textbooks will say that, see, this is a very, very conceptual question, but I don't think UPSC will go to that level of depth. But again, I'm clarifying here. When you're talking about the theories of rebirth, it talks about the role of human beings in our cosmic world. So when you're saying rebirth, it just means that your duty is not done yet. There is a theory of karma. There are some good deeds and bad. Basically, your account is not settled. So you'll come back and fulfill that account and go back. This is what theory of rebirth says. Lot of textbooks, when they're talking about the context of Lingayats, they say they reject the theory of rebirth. So here, if you observe, they, UPSC carefully placed, instead of rejection, they placed questioned. It is intentional because Lingayats did not reject the theory of rebirth. They questioned the existing theory of rebirth at that time and said that we believe in unification with Shiva. After death, they consider human beings as the highest living form. And if a human being is born and when a human being passes away, they are bound to get unified with Shiva, and there is nothing like rebirth. This is what they said. It is not like they rejected the theory of rebirth. It is they questioned the theory of rebirth and said that this is the final thing. There is nothing beyond this. So you have to abide by this lifestyle and conduct yourself in a specific way. And there is no way that, upper caste people will get access to God and lower caste people will not get access to this moksha. They created a egalitarian platform where after death, everybody gets unified with Shiva. This is the philosophy of Lingayats. Okay. So revision of that topic is also done. So you go back and read about the topic. Now, one more thing. How will you solve this? Same thing again. Look at the timeline, time filter. When did the fall of Lodi dynasty happen?
Sir, 1526.
Okay, great. Okay. So this time timelines are important. Dadu Dayal. Where will you find Dadu Dayal? Or let's begin with Guru Nanak. Where will you find Guru Nanak?
And
Sir, in the Amritsar
Pakistan,
region, Punjab region.
Okay. Region wise, fine. Timeline.
So he was born in 1469. So in the 15th century he was born.
1469 to 1539. Basically, this timeline is important. Of course, you might be wondering how can we remember all these points? Some names and some timelines are important. Guru Nanak is important. Okay. So now I'm asking you, can you eliminate Guru Nanak because timelines are matching? No, right? So
No,
any
sir.
option that doesn't have two should be removed. What else? Take a look at 3. Tyagaraja. Where will you find this name Tyagaraja? Does it sound like a North Indian name or a South Indian name?
Sir,
South
mixed
Indian.
Tyagis are in north.
South Indian.
Tyagaraja.
Right.
So Trinity of Carnatic music.
Exactly. Trinity of Carnatic music. So Carnatic music is a 18th, 19th century phenomenon. Mughals already declined by that time. So any option that includes 3 should be rejected. Now you are left with 1 and 2 and 2 only. Will you actually solve this question without having a specific knowledge? Where is Dadu Dayal? 16th to 17th century. Now what? He was born, so that's why timelines are important. He was born much later than 1526. So yes, you have to reject 1 and 2 and arrive at 1. See, this is a very undesirable scenario that you are expected to memorize timelines, but can't help. There is no other way I can help you here. I'm just highlighting this. A single map and single philosophy can get a lot of these points right. So there's no other way we can approach this. Okay, now take a look at this. This is now we are entering into the conceptual point. One line of questioning that UPSC adopted was understanding the chronology. Now they will mix chronology and concept also, in my opinion. But those chronologies and concepts will be coming from PYQs only. Take a look at this question. Yesterday I gave the notes. That's the reason I'm asking you today. If you read it, you will be able to solve this very quickly. If you did not read them, I am expecting that you will go back and revise after today's class. Now, religious history of medieval India, Sufis, what about the practice? See, the larger theme here is the inter-religious assimilation. They want to know if Sufis, were open to the idea of taking
Sir,
ideas from, let's say, yoga. Let's say, for example, you will see some similarities between Nathas and Siddhas. Siddhas and Sufis. They also used yogic breathing. Similar methodology was observed even in Sufis. It created a very unique Sufi identity. And there are some specific terms like zikr, zama, malfuzat. You are expected to know all these terms. Go ahead and apply. Apply that knowledge here and get me the answer.
sir, statement 2 we can eliminate.
Okay. Why are you eliminating statement 2?
Sir, because the Sufi saints, they were used like they were intermingled with the culture, and the khankas of Sufi saints were visited by Hindus as well as Muslims. So, sir, they
Okay.
were severely not ascetic, means they were intermingling with the cultures.
Mhm. I don't think that is the official UPSC answer. You will have to check once again.
Sir, I think all three of them are right.
Exactly. All 3 of them are right. Basically, ascetics means what? They're saints. They never resided in any kingdom or like under the patronage of any king. Yes, some kings visited these Sufi saints, but it doesn't mean that they were patronizing them. Kanka means it is a collective place. Let's say, for example, uh, there is a radical group, Besharia. You remember this word Kalandar?
Yes, sir. We have done one
What
PYQ.
is Kalandar? What does it mean? Any idea? You are supposed to know this, guys. See, if you are talking about
Sir,
Kalandars, etc.,
sir, is it like a Sufi, sort of like a saint?
Sir, is
all
it those who wear red caps?
sorry, I can't hear you.
Is it those who wear red cap
That is Kuladharan.
associated with? Oh, sorry.
Then
All right.
chain of Sufi saints, sir.
No. Okay, I'll give you the background story here. We are talking about the structural division of Sufi saints. There are two kinds of people, Be Sharia, okay, and Ba Sharia. Be and Ba. Those who compiled and compiled the entire Islamic knowledge, and they were sticking to that Islamic law and generally lived with an organized community called Kanka. They're called Ba Sharia. Okay. And if you are opposing this, you are a radical, you are living a radical lifestyle, and you are known for radical interpretation of Sufi ideals, then they were labeled as Be Sharia. If you look at Kalandars and Malangs, please remember these names, Kalandars and Malangs. These people were known for the radical interpretation of the ideals, and they did not like the stability of the Kanka. You know this word Kanka, right? It is like a place where people live together. Kalandars and Malangs were people who were nomads, wanderers. They were begging and living on those alms. So, unlike mainstream Sufi Kankas who had families, in Kankas you had families too. These people were celibate and they ignored traditional rituals, and extreme self-discipline was there, physical hardship was there, extreme asceticism, like true saints. Their deliberate defiance of the norms was the identity for them, and that's why they called them, like they were labeled as Be Sharia. Okay, so like say for example, all walks of life, people from all walks of life were visible in this Khankas. So when you talk about, let's say, Nizamuddin Aulia, where many kings visited, many royal people also visited those saints. Even in those places, you will find this Kalandars and Malangs. Okay. They are also called Madaris. I don't know how many of you know this beautiful song called Madari. Uh, just listen to this song once in Coke Studio. There is a song called Coke Studio, just for your reference. You will understand what I'm talking about if you listen to that song and lyrics. Anyone know this song?
Yes,
Nobody?
sir.
There is a song called Madari.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a
Yes.
beautiful song.
Yes, sir.
Listen
Yes,
to
sir.
that song. In that song, you will be understanding the philosophy of this Madaris and Haidaris. The overall philosophy is that they are extreme, like radicals. Kalandas and Malangs, don't get into the specifics. Just understand that these people, Be Sharia, they are extremely, they are the poster child for radical opposition. Anyway, fine. So this is right. You cannot say it is wrong. Recitation of holy songs to arouse a state of ecstasy in their audience. If you saw the movie Rockstar, again, I'm giving you popular references so that you can stick in your mind. How many of you saw this movie Rockstar? You will see the lead actor sitting in, that dargah and singing that song. So, same thing. What is this called? What is the name here?
Kavali.
Kavali.
Sir,
Yes, it is a hymn or call. Basically, Kavali or call. Okay. The practice as such is known as Sama, where the singer is performing a mystical musical art to evoke divine ecstasy. So you need to know some basic facts. What is ziyarat?
sir, it is a visit to Kanka.
Exactly. It's a pilgrimage. Then the use of music and dance to get that spiritual grace. Music and dance is called barakat. Okay. You have to know these terms. Ziyarat, barakat.
Sir, Fana is also there.
Yeah, fine. So I want you to just by heart these terms. I already gave you the text. Go back and refer to them. Okay. So these are extremely important. You can get questions again and again from this region. Next up. Among the following, who is not a proponent of the Bhakti cult? Okay, fine. See this question. Simple question.
Nagarjuna.
Why?
He is Buddhist,
Sir,
right?
he was from.
So, what is the characteristic feature of Bhakti? See, Bhakti is a name given by us, but you will have to know what is the actual philosophy of the Bhakti period, right?
Sir, it's religious or cultural regeneration.
Okay, but that's what happened even in Nagarjuna's time. Cultural rejuvenation was there, religion was there.
So self-devotion to the god.
Hmm.
Personal
Sir, it
God.
is salvation through the devotion to the god.
It's exactly. It's about the method. Bhakti period focused on the devotion to God as the method to attain salvation, whereas the metaphysical aspects of Buddhism, Vedanta, they focused on the ritual as a methodology, a practice as a methodology to understand the knowledge, and that knowledge, when you meditate upon it, will give you moksha. It is the difference in the method only. Okay, that's why. Always look at this method. UPSC will ask or design questions based on the odd man out logic when the options are designed. Now, these are 2010, 2012, and 2013, like multiple years are there. What if I can use chronology, concept, and also any other facts that we discuss to twist the statement? So this year, you will have to be extra careful about the PYQs. Whatever facts that you get through PYQs, whatever patterns we observed in the PYQs can be clubbed together to create a question, and I'll make it even more difficult. I'll make pair-based questions on this. How many pairs are correct? One pair, two pair. Or otherwise, I'll ask multi-statement assertion reasoning based questions. Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. These kind of reasoning will become difficult for you, and I'm anticipating this in topics that are already established. So you will have to know the concepts in and out, especially the facts associated with this PYQs. That is the reason I'm spending so much time here. Otherwise, UPSC is not left with a lot of topics here. All right, now let's go to the other aspects of medieval India, namely architecture, literature, and art. Okay. I'll be a bit quicker because you will be clueless. I know a lot of students did not prepare this part. So I'll just tell you how to approach this with minimal knowledge. Let's see how you remember the facts now. Anyway, okay, let's start. How many of you remember the fact, or how many of you know the answer?
Sir, I know the answer, sir.
It's
Okay.
Akbar, I think, sir.
It's Akbar.
Okay. Do you know the book called Yoga?
Yes, sir. It is a discourse of sage Vasishtha to Ram, I think.
Right. So the when you want to approach this, UPSC will always build traps by using some clues within the questions. Let's see each one. Okay. Now, Akbar is most likely the answer for this kind of religious syncretism. Definitely not Aurangzeb. You can eliminate Aurangzeb whenever it comes to this kind of, if there are any outliers, any exceptions, we will see if we get to that. We will not focus on Aurangzeb for this kind of secular activities as of now. Out of all the Mughals, Akbar was the first. I mean, Akbar should be the default choice for any such kind of secular activities which aimed at integrating the Sanskritic ideas with the Persian culture. Okay. Now, it is during this time period only, when you're talking about Akbar, you will know something called Maktab Khana. Are you aware of this Maktab Khana? Even if you are not aware, just listen to what I'm saying. During Akbar's period, there is a department for translating this kind of texts. That department is called, or that, let's say, that building is called Maktab Khana. Okay. And during that time period, Yoga Vasistha, which is a philosophical text on Vedanta and yoga, it was interpreted and translated into Persian so that the metaphysical ideas are now accessible to the Persian people also. So Akbar was indeed trying to create that religious syncretism so that the quality of life gets better. Now, why are other time periods or other rulers not able to do the same thing? Take the time period of Humayun. First of all, he did not have he did not have political stability only. Can you tell me some facts about the background of why Humayun did not have political stability? Something was happening. Do you
Sir, he
think
lost to Sir
yeah,
Suri.
exactly.
Battle of Chosa and Battle of Chachur.
One important fact you have to remember is usually students have this misconception that once Babur starts, there is no other king. That it one after the other, Mughal kings came forward and ruled the country for a lot of time. There is one exception, Humayun. During Humayun's period, Sher Shah Suri attacked, occupied, and then again after some time, Humayun regained that. So his reign was too unstable and focused on military survival only. There is no way you can expect him to establish this kind of massive translation departments and do the work that Akbar did. Okay. Then Shah Jahan. Why not Shah Jahan? Shah Jahan had very little interest for translating all these works because most of his time went away in focusing on arts only. It is actually his son Dara Shikoh. All the works during Shah Jahan time was done by the Prince Dara Shikoh. Who was more interested in this works? Who was interested in education like his grandfather, Akbar? Akbar was not a learnt man. He did not receive any formal education. So that's why he was interested in, uh, you know, having learnt people around him, and he did whatever he could to keep himself educated throughout his life, in the second half of his life. The same qualities were picked up by Dara Shikoh, who was not a very, who was not a king who ruled for a very long time. but is definitely known for his contributions to literature and learning all this Upanishads and Yoga Vasistha kind of texts. And of course, Aurangzeb, definitely not. He leaned towards ulema and Sharia. Imperial translation of Vedantic text, etc., is unlikely during this time. Okay, so if you take a look at Akbar's time period, you will see farmans, that is like imperial orders. Okay, at that point of time, Akbar showed respect towards non-Muslim religious leaders too. And the translation of the Yoga Vasistha is a direct extension to this policy of Sulikul. Okay, this is an important fact you are supposed to know. A universal religion that Akbar aimed to create. Okay, so now you know Nizamuddin Panipati, Yoga Vasistha, Akbar, and rest of the people. You also know about Dara Sikho. Okay, these are some of the facts. All right, next question. How will you solve this? I know without facts you won't be able to take a guess, but I still want you to take a guess.
So 2 and 4 look correct among the 4.
Okay, I'm looking for a logic or some kind of a pattern that you observed to eliminate rest of the things.
Like if we
look at the Vijayanagara Empire, and I told you that it is one of the most socially diverse states in medieval India. There was religious syncretism, there was good position for women. So if UPSC is asking, be careful about eliminating that. Don't impose your stereotype here.
Sir, astrology is something like men's dominated in that field in the past.
And sir, it was mainly for the Brahmins or some like elitely educated class. So not all women, it can be like, or not all women would have access to that.
Always remember, if UPSC is asking, it is challenging whether you know this kind of stereotypes don't exist at some places. If see, because we have this stereotypical thinking that women are restricted. This is the major idea, right? If UPSC is asking and that information is not there in your traditional text, always look at it with suspicion. They are trying to see if the default mode of you applying that stereotype is taken away from you or not. Focus on that. Okay, so our mind will say that it is highly improbable that Nunes would observe such nuances also. But is there any logic saying that if Nunes observed people in, let's say, women in wrestling, astrology, accounting, is it possible that he will not find them in soothsaying? Soothsaying is definitely there even in present day time. So you cannot eliminate fourth option. So you have to reject the first option directly. Now you are wondering, is there any logic that they are present in accounting but not wrestling? Or let's say they are present in astrology but not accounting. You can't find a logic. They had a high degree of integration of women in the courtly life, and they were encouraged to participate in all of this. This is the, bet on versatility. When the examiner is asking about the capabilities of a group in a specific, culture or specific kingdom, always take a bet on that versatility. Advanced societies tend towards high specialization and high level of respect for all sections of the society. The social profile of Vijayanagara Empire, you should be remembering. And you will also have to take a look at the works of travelers like Abdur Razak or Namingo Pace. What did they say about this time period? Take a bet on the versatility of that period and look at it with suspicion. If stereotypical options are presented, be careful. Unless and until you have a evidence from your NCRTs, do not reject it. This is my directive. Usually, if you are getting information, so whenever you are getting a traditional question and that information is not there in our NCRTs, what is our usual inclination? I only told you that we have to go towards minimization in history, but that minimization requires us to eliminate at least one fact or one specific point in a multi-statement question. I did not find a single fact in our textbooks. We are only going by our stereotypical thinking. Is there any logic here? No, I am advocating a pattern and I am advocating how UPSC is challenging and playing with our minds. This is the kind of thinking I want you to have. Any culture where religious syncretism is there, where cosmopolitan culture is there, unless and until you explicitly have an idea that something is restricted for a social group, do not challenge the versatility bet that UPSC is testing. Is this clear? At least one fact you should be aware to apply, minimization rule.
Sir, but astrology is a specific science, and how can the trader women be indulged into, or the wives of some merchant kind of class will be into astrology?
Why did trading come into the picture here?
Sir, we're talking about Vijayanagara Empire, so we are talking like women in Vijayanagara Empire were expert. So, sir, women of all sorts, like for a lower class women or from middle class and then a richer class. So, sir, how could the lower class women had access to astrology?
Why not? I mean,
Sir,
is there
because it's
any
a
evidence?
specific
Is there any,
science.
well, let's say, for example, upper class women are indeed taking up astrology. Did they mention social hierarchy here? Upper caste, lower caste, anything like that? Because you will have to understand Portuguese, after Portuguese came into the picture only, you will have the discussion on caste. Much later. Caste is a much later phenomenon. Back then, mostly there is a Jajmani system based on varnas, based on professions. Okay. So I'm not saying caste is completely absent, but our traditional thinking, which is shaped by the anthropologists and sociologists of the British period and then later our education system, should not be applied to the time period of Vijayanagara. The society was quite different then. The question at no point said that lower caste, higher caste. Like, why are you assuming that? Let's say families, one family might be into, ladies from one family might be into wrestling. Some of them might be into astrology. Some of them might be into accounting. Some of them might be into soothsaying. You are asking me, if lower caste women are not getting access, I will reject it. I am saying that that kind of thought process is absent here. They did not say lower caste. If they said that, according to the writer, lower caste women in Vijayanagara were expert in all of this, then the question can be completely different. Nothing of that sort is given here. If you can find at least one person doing this, being an expert, you have to mark it right. And if your logic says that, there can't be a reason why it is not possible in a cosmopolitan hub like Vijayanagara, and also given the fact that UPSC is asking this kind of a specific question only in Vijayanagara, there must be something good about it, right? Unless and until you have a very strong reason, do not eliminate. Clear?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
let's take a look at this question. How will you solve this question? I'm not asking about whether you know the facts or not. 1 second, guys. Yeah, please tell me. How are you going to solve this question?
Sir, Dhrupads is related to classical music, like,
Okay.
so maybe we can. It's the wrong statement.
Oh, Tansen is known for Drupads.
Okay.
So,
Option 1.
Atisham, can I just one more time? I just want to understand your logic. Tansen, like, why are you rejecting the second statement?
Sir, because of the, like, I thought he came before, like, Dhrupad classical music, I thought maybe came later.
Okay, you are.
I
So
mean, I
you are
know
using
that
the
the title
chronology.
is given by Akbar. Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you sure it is given by Akbar?
I have to check, sir.
Tansen invented many ragas. See, I'll tell you, take a look at the all filters that we thought about till now. One is timeline filter. Okay. One is timeline as in chronology. One is odd man out. Take a look at this. It is talking about songs, ragas, again songs, again music. What is the odd one out? Look at this with suspicion. Also, Mia Tansen. Which one of the following statements is not correct? If Tansen is the title, who must have given that? If you go back to the answer is, if you see the odd man out, answer is supposed to be 1. Okay. How did you arrive at this? Because I'm applying the odd man out logic, and I am also focusing on the first statement. Usually, if I have to change the names, UPSC can change the names. It can be Shah Jahan, Jahangir, or anyone. If you go back into the reality, Akbar was definitely a very famous king, and Tansen was one of the most influential figures of that time. The title Tansen was actually given by Raja Ramchandra Singh of Rewa, his previous patron. If you go back to the history of how Akbar stabilized the kingdom, yesterday we were discussing, he was good at forming alliances and maintaining feudatories, good friendly relation with Rajputs. So, one such king or one such ally was the patron of Tansen. In this relay race of patronage, like this poets, writers moved from one kingdom to another kingdom. The title need not come from the most famous king of that time period. It can also come from someone before them. You have to focus on the first major patron who recognizes the talent, not necessarily the most powerful one, right? But you don't know all of this, that's fine. That's why I'm saying you have to look at it with suspicion. You have to see the odd man out. How will you know the odd man out here in the option? If you are reading about the music aspect, which we'll be covering tomorrow, music, dance, etc., we'll be covering them tomorrow. In the discussion on classical music and classical dances, you will come across some facts, some important figures. Definitely, Tansen is one of them. Drupad is something that you will know in the basics of music. Today, you might not know. Tomorrow, once we visit that music lecture and the discussion on the PYQs of music, that part will be settled. Okay? Please take a note on this point. That's how you should be approaching it. Some more points we'll be discussing again, but we will build one more question and we'll close this. The rest of the points I'll take tomorrow. All right. Now we are also applying geography here. Yes, answer anyone?
So Fatehpur is built with red sandstone, right?
Okay.
So we can eliminate like white marble, and even Buland Darwaza is red in color, I guess.
Okay. Next.
Sir, I think both are incorrect, sir. We find red fort and all in red, so
Exactly.
Ridgestone might be the one
Option was
used
flip.
in first statement. And Agra, we find Taj Mahal, white marble. So that Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, these areas might be having white marble.
Hmm. Okay. Where are you more likely to find sandstone quarries?
Sorry, Panna, Madhya Pradesh.
Basically, in that Vindhya Aravali region, Agra, Fatehpur Sikri, Delhi, all these places, they primarily used red sandstone because the quarry was practically beside them. Buland Darwaza is in red sandstone because it is locally available. You have to look at the region, Gangetic Plains. Uttar Pradesh region, everything like Agra, the present day Uttar Pradesh region is sitting on the area where there is deep alluvial silt. There is no local stone available. So what did the builders do? They used brick and limestone plaster like stucco. So any structure that is there in Lucknow region, if they say that it is made of red sandstone, it is a violation of that local material logic. And if they transported that material from elsewhere, it would definitely become a prestige issue. Can you give one example? Because definitely you know there are marble structures like Taj Mahal. So till then, red sandstone was used. From Shah Jahan time, it became a prestige issue. Defied the geography logic and they wanted to take it as a hallmark. That's why they took the pain of transporting marble from Rajasthan area to Agra for Taj Mahal. It was a display of wealth. Clear? This is what I wanted to highlight. Rumi Darwaza is there in Lucknow. Buland Darwaza is there in, red sandstone. Rumi Darwaza is in brick and stucco. No stone is available there. Kashmir region used wood, for example, because there are abundant forest resources. And in Bengal region, you will see terracotta material because there is high clay availability. For example, there is this Atiya mosque. So when you are reading that chapter on architectural elements after Mughal period, the last chapter in our Fine Arts NCRT, observe this material logic. Okay. For today, this is it from my end. Tomorrow again we will meet. I know this is a lot of information for you and lot of patterns, and it is very overwhelming for you at times, but that is the reason I'm making you do these things slowly one by one. Okay, that's it from my end. Any questions? Okay, that's it from my end. Have a good day, guys.